Hello, and welcome to Have At Us, Reviews for Your Pleasure. I'm Nietzsche.
And I'm Joshua.
And this is episode 17, Remember Me. And today, you know what we're spoiling? Coco. Now, you've probably seen this, but this is your warning, your spoiler warning. Coco, the Disney film, what year did this come out?
2017.
2017.
Ancient.
I mean, it does feel kind of ancient. A little bit. Like,
a lot happened in that year.
What happened in 2017 that's noteworthy?
I moved back to Oregon from Alabama.
And this movie was a great comfort to you.
No, I hadn't seen it until yesterday.
Yeah. It's not a good movie.
Not a good movie.
I don't understand what people praised about this. I thought that this was going to be something just mildly acceptable. But I didn't get that. Like, people praised this movie. They're like, it's so great and it's so cool. And I'm like, okay, maybe this movie has something going for it. But it didn't. It just didn't. I hope you have either really positive things or really negative things to say.
I don't know that I have either of those.
You didn't have either. You felt mediocrity about this?
That's exactly what I felt. You know, it's a movie about a kid wanting to become a musician at its heart, right? But I felt like there was not a lot of music in the grand scheme of things. Him playing the music and whatnot. And I thought that was really weird. I was expecting more of a musical. But you don't really get that, so that's kind of disappointing. Then the music you did get was fine. At no point did I think this was exceptional.
Do you have a favorite song?
Probably when they did that contest.
In the Land of the Dead?
Yeah, something like Coco Roco.
I don't know what the song was actually called. I was just happy it didn't sound as obnoxious as I thought it was going to sound.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite song. I didn't really think Remember Me was particularly good, even though I felt like that was the song that they wanted you to take away from the movie. I thought, it's okay, I guess.
I don't think it was supposed to have an exceptionally, great musical sound. I feel like it was supposed to communicate the emotive bond there, right? You're supposed to kind of tie the emotions in together.
A little on the nose.
I'm not saying it wasn't on the nose. What I am saying is that's what I think and feel it was supposed to do.
I mean, you're probably right. But it's still I'm pretty sure it's still the song that they want you to remember. I really thought there was going to be more music. And I thought it was a little weird.
There wasn't even a crazy amount of mood-setting music. It was kind of a weird deal. And I don't know if maybe that was purposeful to build to the end where then music is cool and accepted.
Maybe. But I didn't feel like we had a good moment of that even at the end, except for maybe the last 30 seconds.
Even that's not that great, let's be real.
Yeah, it's just, I really don't feel like the payoff that they were going for is ever shown as far as the music goes. The story, I suppose, wraps things up, but it's also very predictable and kind of boring sometimes.
I feel like it was more predictable than most other children's movies, right?
Yeah.
Because I was willing to forgive a lot of things as this is a children's movie, right? He magically plays guitar really well even though his family has shunned music his entire life.
Yeah, that's...
And he's watched some kid, and so he's mimicked hand motions, and he's magically... Okay, it's a children's movie, I'll move on. There were a lot of things like that, right? Where I just went, okay. But I was I don't know, I feel like every child in the world predicted basically everything that was going to happen in this movie, 10 minutes in.
I mean, there were some things that I wasn't 100% sure. So, you have the old photo of, who his great-great-grandfather is. And it's clearly meant to be misleading. And you see it and it's oh, it's De La Cruz. And I'm immediately it's definitely not him. There's no way life is that convenient. It's not him.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're left with little options as to who it could be. And so when it's revealed, you're yeah, but I knew that an hour ago.
Here's the deal. He said, oh, my father's De La Cruz. And I was it's not. And then we introduced Hector.
Yeah.
And I was you know who your father is? Right there.
That guy.
The guy right there. From the first scene, I was okay. I don't know, why did you make this movie? You just painted it. You could have painted me a picture that said the same thing. It would take me less time. I was so bored. Before we even got to, Miguel entering the Land of the Dead, I was already bored. I was never engaged in this movie. And, I'm not the target audience, and that's fine. But I just feel there were, adults who told me this movie was good, and, It seems like people really liked this movie, and so I just thought there was going to be something more here.
Now, did people like the movie because they thought the movie itself was good? Or that it was a good representation of, like, Mexican culture? Because that's what I generally hear as being good about the movie. And I don't know.
But is a representation of Mexican culture, I just feel like all you did was say that they're like a family people. To be fair, from my understanding, that is pretty accurate, right?
Yeah.
Family's a big deal. But, like, that's all you showed me. You didn't do anything new or innovative with that. Like, you could have went into a little more to, like, these traditions from, you know... what is this holiday? Day of the Dead?
Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
They said its name in Spanish, and I don't remember. I'm like,
they said a lot of things in Spanish, and some of them, like, ruined the flow. Because some of them you could be like, oh, okay, yeah, we all know. You said hola. We all know what the word hola means. I don't need you to, like, do something weird here. But then there were, like, phrases that were like, I don't know what you were trying to communicate, and the context is not helping me. Like 2 or 3 times, and I was like, I feel like that was an oversight. Or you just purposely wanted to alienate people and make the Mexican population feel better about it. That's whatever.
Or you're just stupid. I like that option better.
You like that option better?
Yeah.
Okay. Just being an idiot. But that hurts my feelings.
No, it doesn't.
You think I'm an idiot.
No, it doesn't.
I would have been more interested. Right, if we had delved into, like, these traditions and how that works, and it would have been much more interesting if we had done more with that and the worldview from, like, the Mexican culture on that.
So I don't really know anything about the Day of the Dead. I knew it was a holiday. I didn't really know anything about it outside of its existence. When we're talking about it and we're talking about how you have to have these pictures up of your deceased family so that they can visit on this particular day, I wonder if that's actually true. If so, it's pretty interesting. Like, I have literally no basis to go off of, and I don't know if that's really true. Now, obviously, I don't think it's quite as this movie portrays with this magical other world where we all go when we die. Or maybe it's just the Mexican people who go there when they die. I don't know.
I did not hear any white-sounding people or European-sounding people or any other people that were Mexican in the land of the dead.
Actually, it could have been an interesting idea if you implied that people of different religions or cultures went to their own version of an afterlife. That would actually be an interesting topic, but obviously we're not talking about that kind of philosophy or religious mindset. We're really only focusing on this, and you know, it's interesting. I like the idea that the family visits you on this day and it's a day of celebration with family and everything. Like, that sounds cool, but I just don't know anything outside of, you know, seize your moment and music's awesome and that's about it.
That's what I'm saying, right? It could have been more interesting on my front if we had just done a little more with telling us what this was, right? Telling us about the Day of the Dead and how that works exactly. And, like, you get a little bit, but, like, not enough. Like, I don't see, like, a family actually celebrate this holiday. Like, I feel like if you had just done, like, a normal one and then time skip to the next one, right? It could have been more enlightening and interesting. But instead we get, like, Miguel over here causing all the mayhem. And then he gets, you know, spirited away into the land of the dead because he's cursed, which is a curse on, like, your whole family. It's pretty jacked.
Yeah.
Why? Don't have kids.
The sins of the son go to the father in this, I guess.
Yeah, don't have children. They will curse you. They will cause problems. This is why you don't have any.
It's a good idea.
Foolproof plan. Anyway, so this movie doesn't have enough songs, and it doesn't tell me enough about the Mexican culture for me as a layman to understand. I need you to tell me what it does right.
Well,
there's only one option here, and you better pick it.
I like his grandmother.
Which one?
Fair question. His actual grandmother, not his great-grandmother or great-great-grandmother.
Okay.
I liked her. I thought she was pretty funny. Thought she was entertaining. I thought that was a pretty funny bit at the beginning where he's signing the guy's shoes and he's about to give him a taste of the guitar. And as he just walks up and is like, oh, hell no. Gonna beat the crap out of you. Get the hell out. I thought that was pretty funny. I also liked the part where De La Cruz dies from a bell falling on him while he's performing. I thought that was also pretty funny.
Like when he dies while he's still alive.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why there was a lever to drop the bell. Like, at what point do you need to, like, pull a lever to just boom, drop a bell. That seems highly irresponsible.
I thought it was just a rope holding it up, and then the guy was laughing and then fell over, or he wasn't laughing. He was
tripped and hit the lever, and the lever dropped the bell.
I just saw the rope.
Yeah, I don't know why you would have that.
Yeah, not the greatest plan, but I still thought it was pretty funny.
Was it though? Like, I don't think it was very funny.
Yeah,
I wasn't having it.
I thought it was just so random. Just like, okay, the guy died from that. Great. Otherwise, I mean, it was not much to be super positive on. I mean, the color scheme of things I thought was nice. Like with the orange, I like the vibrant orange. I thought the spirit animals were kind of cool.
There was one spirit animal that's cool. One.
Well, I kind of liked the idea that there are these animals that exist both in the real world and in the afterlife, and that they can kind of go in between and actually be like a guide. I think that's pretty nice. It's a cool moment.
Yeah, but does the Mexican culture believe in that? Is that something that they think is there, or is that like in here for the kids movie, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, is I didn't know that if this was like a real idea or not. I was just like, okay, like it's a cool idea, but the accuracy, I have no idea.
I mean, we could look it up, but we need some people who are either experts or have lived as a good. We're gonna use stereotypical in a positive sense here, Mexican life. So tell me all about it. Just me.
Yeah, DM.
But yeah, no, the only positive. That's not the positive.
Okay, what's the positive?
The positive is that at the very end, when Miguel plays the "Remember Me" song for his great-grandma, because she's so old and decrepit. That is actually, like, really accurate.
With the music bringing back her memory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, like, super accurate. You will remember, like, memories of music and things like that for the longest period of time. That's, like, the last thing that will go out of your memories. And I really liked that. I thought that was a really nice touch.
While I appreciate the accuracy of it, I wasn't really that engaged because, again, I saw it coming a mile away. Oh wow, he took the guitar from the mausoleum and is running back, and he's got to go remind him of Hector. Oh, I wonder how he'll do that. Probably with the song. Wow.
Titled "Remember Me."
Wow. Stunning. Who could have seen that coming? I was just so like, all right, I know where this is going. I know everything about the scene before we get to this scene.
I mean, I agree. I still respected that, right? I appreciated that. I suppose we should walk through the actual story. I don't feel like that'll take that long. But you start with Miguel doing his stuff, talking about his family, how they suck. They're just shoemakers and they're boring people.
Cobblers, as we'd call them, right?
Would they be cobblers?
That's what a shoemaker is.
I mean, in some time period it was. I don't know what time period we're in. I don't know if the Mexican people adopted that word or not.
Actually, you bring up time period, and I'm immediately reminded of something I was confused about. Because we got De La Cruz playing in movies. And an actor and this big person. And he's got this big show going when he dies. But this guy was in a time period with Hector, which is his great-great-grandfather. So this is an old person.
We also haven't advanced very far because he only has a VHS player.
Yeah.
Miguel does.
And he died, like Hector and him died fairly young looking. And so I'm really confused on the timeline of these people and how far back or forward are we from these movies? Are these movies actually being done in an accurate time period? When did Mexico start producing movies? Is it comparable to when Hollywood started? I have no idea. I really felt like this was really confusing. And I realized this is like really unimportant and petty, but I was kind of bothered by it.
Again, something that I went, it's a kid's movie. I moved on. I went, yeah, your timeline's weird, and like, you didn't decide to explain to me any level of time period, or like, they didn't seem to have any modern conveniences.
Yeah.
Ever, at any point. Do they have piping? I don't know. That's mildly concerning.
Yeah, I was really confused about that, but that was, something I remembered with your words, so I wanted to get that out. But yeah, we start there, talk about the lineage of the family, how they hate music, the worst thing.
That was part of, like, the unbelievable point, though. Like, I feel like I don't like a lot of music, right? But there is still, like, music is still an important thing, right? I feel like the world without music would still be less than. I would be losing something,
yeah.
Right? But I'm not one of these people, like, I have a coworker who listens to music all day. He has his headphones in all day. It's real important.
Right. I mean, you're not an avid fan. But
yeah, but I just don't know how you go through your entire life, like generation, where you've avoided music.
yeah, just completely. Like, we don't even know who De La Cruz is. Some of these people, like some of this part of the family, like, oh, I don't know who that is. He's got a statue in town of the guy. He's so famous.
Big statue, too.
Yeah, okay.
There's a little immersion breaking, right? Like,
Yeah.
right from the get-go. If they were like, you know, we don't choose to listen to that, but like, they don't know anything, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's very weird.
And that was kind of a pulled out point where I just feel like they could have just changed that a little bit and it would have not been weird.
Yeah, if it had just been his grandmother, who was still stuck in that way, and C was kind of the matron of the house and keeping that alive, but maybe if his dad or his mom had a little bit of a music thing going, right, it would have been better. It would have made it a little bit more believable. But as it is, it was kind of nonsense.
The grandmother, Miguel's grandmother, like, she was clearly the head of the household, right?
Yeah.
You listen to this woman or she was gonna beat you with her shoe.
Yeah.
Which I as I understand it, that's like a real, like, pretty Mexican thing. Like, you get beat with a shoe. That's a thing.
I have no idea. That sounds crazy.
I've seen several things, like, on YouTube that are, like, mocking, like, you know, when you grow up as a Mexican, and always.
Huh?
Always, your mother or grandmother will beat you with a shoe. Like, so it seems pretty accurate, right? It seems like something that if you grew up with that, you connected to that.
Interesting.
I did not. We had a spoon. Like a wooden spoon on your feet. That's a thing. That hurts, by the way. A lot.
Yeah, the most I ever received was like a spanking a couple times in my life. But generally, not often.
I mean, that's because you were such a good kid.
Yep.
Unlike the rest of us.
I mean, I was a pretty well-behaved kid.
I really didn't get punished that often. Irrelevant. But yeah, so she's the head of the household. We're going to come back on track here. So it would have made a lot more sense if, like, maybe they were, like, tapping their foot or something. Or, like, there was, like, they were making their own little music thing while they were making shoes. And then she, like, caught on and was like, no. Right, if she was kind of the antagonist of that, and they all came around when Miguel changed her mind, it would have been better.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of ways that you could handle this to make it a little bit more interesting.
It would have made it more believable at the end when, like, this girl's playing the violin and you're like, it's a year later. You play the violin with proficiency?
Man, I could master the violin in like 6 months if I tried really hard. Easy.
I don't think you could.
Easy.
You're gonna have to first shave your beard and probably get in the way.
I'm not saving my beard. I will use my beard to play.
Not gonna happen. But, where do you go from there? Where do you go from that? You go to him trying to play in the festival, right?
Yeah, he wants to play. He goes up to his room where you see he's built his own guitar, watching the old movie/interview, cassette tape. Not cassette. VHS tape.
You're right, buddy.
I also like the scene where his grandmother just smashes his guitar, just absolutely demolishes that. I'm like, yeah, this woman's hardcore. She's a good catcher.
You liked that she was sadistic about it. She, like, took some pleasure from smashing that guitar.
Yeah, she was crazy.
Okay. So he wants to play in the festival, and there's nothing really noteworthy about that we haven't already talked about. Breaks into the mausoleum.
As you do.
Becomes cursed. I feel like there's got to be, like, a repeat offense here. Like, nope, not even if you give him your blessing, it's over. This kid already repeat offender. You haven't even left the office, buddy. Nope. You are doomed. You're dead. Stuck here. Sucks to be you.
He, like, meets the part of his family that's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Who we had seen the pictures of earlier. And they're all skeletons. And let me say, the skeleton designs in this movie, I don't really care for them. They were all a little samey. I felt like you could have done something to spice them up a little bit. Make them a little bit more interesting.
Their clothing was different.
Oh, great.
What more do you want? It's a skeleton. It's white. It's bones.
You could
The
have
difference in bones is structure. Like tall, short, bigger, smaller bones. What do you want?
Yeah, but they clearly tried to make some differentials, right? With, like, their skulls. Had some, like, paintings on it and whatnot.
They had designs on all the skulls, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know, but they were really bland. Like, you could have made it a little bit visually appealing. And did everybody have to have this weird skull shape? I don't know, like, if you're gonna make a shape that's clearly not correct anatomically, then you could have at least gone and made a bunch of variety. But you didn't do that. I don't know, I just thought it was underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
You meet them, they bring him to the land of the dead, which is just this massive, kind of like a Atlantis-looking place. Like
a little bit, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw it. And, like, that's kind of cool, but visually, I don't know, I like the bridge over was cooler than the city itself.
I agree. The bridge was neat, but then the city was kind of bland looking, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we made music that was like, oh, this is a grand reveal, cool, and then it really wasn't that cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. But we get there, we go to the office. Because they gotta go find his grandma, because he can't leave.
Because he took her picture.
Yeah, what a thief. And then, he says, nah, screw you, fam, I'm out. And then he runs away.
Meets Hector.
Who, of course, has no relations to him at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they go on an adventure, get a guitar, enter a competition. I mean, pretty straightforward stuff.
I don't really like the fact that you can then die again, right? I would appreciate if it was just like, you're stuck here, you can never go back to the land of the living. Like, that would have been fine. But then, like, you disappear if nobody remembers you.
Well,
Why?
I wonder if that's actually part of the religious belief, is that you have to keep these people in your memory to let them have, like, peaceful rest or something like that. Like, that I am kind of interested in, if it's accurate. Otherwise, it kind of reminds me of, like, the idea of, like, some old, like, Greek mythology or something, where the idea in some of these old religions is that prayer and thought of these beings is what gives them form and allows them to exist. But if, like, people were to forget or not worship these gods anymore, then their power is reduced. But I don't know if there's any connection to that. But that's kind of what I was reminded of. But it doesn't really go into a whole lot of detail, because that'd probably be a little bit too morbid for the audience. So
I don't know what was considered too morbid when, like, your antagonist is literally a murderer. He literally poisoned and murdered someone for his own fame and then was willing to kill a child.
I was actually pretty surprised. I actually thought, you know what, your villain, pretty okay. I appreciated that he was actually, like, a pretty shady guy.
Yeah, I agree. But that's my point. It's like, I don't know that it's too morbid to talk about that when, like, you're willing to have that already there. It's like, that's pretty dark and bad.
Maybe it's too advanced.
I don't know. We just didn't... I feel like this could have been a more interesting worldview discussion if I was given more. But there isn't.
Yeah.
It's just not quite enough. But anyway, yeah, so he gets his guitar, he does his talent show thing. None of them happen to look on stage where there's music happening. Also, they still hate music, it seems like, in death. They're still just like, no.
Yeah, music bad.
You're dead. You're legit dead. It doesn't matter. How do you... Okay.
It's very weird.
Yeah, if it was just like one person being against everybody else, but they had the power, it would have made more sense to be massively against the music. But irrelevant. I don't really appreciate that we didn't resolve the talent show thing very well. It would have been nicer if they'd been like, oh, and you won. And then he's like running away because he's got to get away from his family.
I thought that was what was going to happen.
Like, that would have been a resolve, but I forgot all about the talent show until his winners show up, and then they let him in.
How nice.
And I'm like, I don't understand how you sat inside of, what is that? Is that a tuba?
You're asking me to tell you what a brass instrument is?
Whatever. We're calling it a tuba. I'm probably wrong. Someone's going to get angry and correct me, and that's fine. I appreciate that. Like, how did he hide in there? No one thinks, wow, why is there like a half of a child skeleton in here? That's weird. Nope. Just go on. Smuggle someone into this exclusive club.
I thought he was going to be in the drum.
I definitely was like, oh, he's in the drum, or he was going to be dressed up as one of them.
And then he gets blown out, and I'm like, oh, okay, sure. I guess he's small. He can fit in that. Maybe if you, broke off his bones and then, throw him in there individually.
There's a lot of bone-breaking scenes where they, like, break apart their skeletal structure.
Well, yeah, like Hector jumps off a cliff and just breaks all, all the bones come apart, and then he just, reforms, which is kind of neat. But
I'm fine with that. Like, because it happens a lot, right? Where they're, like, breaking parts off themselves and stuff. I was fine with that up until where he gets to the guitar scene, and they're drinking, right? And he drinks... But it doesn't go anywhere or do anything.
Yeah, I was like, can you actually drink? Oh, I thought we were going to get like a Pirates of the Caribbean moment. But no, we get nothing.
I don't know what moment we're talking about in Pirates of the Caribbean.
When they're drinking like rum, but they're in their skeleton form. And so it's going through all of their bones.
I don't remember this. This movie sucked, okay? It was like mediocre when I watched it when I was younger, and I feel like it definitely sucks now.
Oh, I like the first one, as far as I remember it. But the rest of them are questionable.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was something that was weird to me. That we were playing really fast and loose with how the rules wanted to work. I get, yeah, it's still a kid's movie, and I understand. But just a little bit more would have helped me.
Well, I feel like kids would think about that even.
No, I feel like if you're engaged as a kid, you're like, oh.
I don't know.
Like, they can talk.
Do they need substance? Because you got a bunch of people eating as skeletons, and I'm like, do you need to?
I mean, that's like their whole deal. They just get to eat.
I guess. Are you stuck with, like, big bones? You know, if you're fat in real life, and then you die, and you're like, at least I'm dead now, so I'll get, like, a new body. Nope. You're still big. You're stuck that way.
Fix your skeletal structure, whatever that is.
Yeah, I
right.
don't
But
know.
you won't have any fat on you, so it'll be fine.
It also seemed like people kind of retained their age when they died.
Oh, yeah. It's the skeletal structure when you die, because Coco, at the end, she's
all old.
She's all old and hunched over, and...
Yeah.
There's a lot of fast and loose, where I just feel like just a little bit more in a lot of places would have helped me as an adult enjoy this movie a little more.
At least not be bothered by the details of it. But we're at this party.
Yeah, he gets to the party.
Meets De La Cruz after playing a song for the audience.
And then he's super cool. And then he gets thrown into the pit because De La Cruz is not his actual father, and we were all surprised. The only thing that was surprising was like, oh, you
poisoned
legit murdered him.
Yeah.
Like, you're a terrible person. Got
Yeah.
it. Your success is all built on a lie.
That's maybe the most interesting part of the movie in a way, is that you had a villain that actually felt villainous and like, okay, yeah, this is one crap bastard, but everything else surrounding it wasn't that interesting. And De La Cruz, I felt like could have used a little bit more screen time in a way.
He should have been introduced earlier if we were going to really have him as the villain, because I feel like Miguel's grandmother is or great grandmother, whatever. I've lost track. The one that's dead.
Great grandmother.
The one that's dead was like the antagonist, right? She had to have her way, and she's still like the head of the household, and super cool.
She's definitely the matriarch.
Yeah, but I feel like she was kind of the villain, more so than De La Cruz. Like, De La Cruz serves a catalyst purpose as a bad person. I don't really feel like he was the antagonist or villain. Because he just comes in so late, and he throws them into a pit, and then they come out, and they're like, yeah,
we're so awesome.
And they take him out.
Yeah. It's exciting stuff, let me tell you.
And like the moment they're like, oh, I know where he'll be, I'm like, yeah, because you took like 5 minutes to show us what was going to happen already. I got it.
Yeah, so we go bust up the party, intervene, have a moment on stage where you get good old Granny singing her song, right?
Yeah, it wasn't that entertaining.
Again, I'm just like, this music. I just wanted it to be a bit better.
I was impressed that the music wasn't as ear-grating as I thought it was going to be.
Well, that's a positive.
Because I thought, man, I knew this movie was about, music, and like, it was really closely aligned with the Mexican culture. And I was like, oh, but the Mexican culture has bad music. Like, just god-awful most of the time when I hear it. And then it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, please stop. The beginning was kind of bad. Like, the very beginning with the Disney thing.
With the logo screen.
Yeah, that
music.
was kind of getting to me pretty quickly.
Well, that was very, like, mariachi.
Yeah, we could have done a lot of that. And we chose not to, and I respect that.
Hmm.
But yeah, they have their cool little, musical showdown, and then they, catch him on camera being a terrible person, and then nobody wants to be a part of him anymore. But he's still going to have to live there for forever, because now he's a scandal. And everybody's going to remember the scandal, too.
Like, they have that sign on his, like, mausoleum when we come back, like, forget him. I'm like, I don't think people are going to forget him that easily.
You've desecrated his cemetery. Or his mausoleum in the cemetery. Like, do you expect people who show up here every year to be like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Oh, no, you didn't, because it's desecrated and right there in front of your face.
I don't really know. Like, is there a prison for the afterlife for these guys?
Well, I don't know. There was the cop over there talking to Hector at the very beginning.
Oh, that's true.
They let him off with a warning.
That's true. That would imply that there are some judicial systems in place.
But, like, he gets hit. De La Cruz gets hit with the bell again, so I don't know what's up.
Yeah, I was like...
He's just stuck inside the bell, and they won't let him out.
Maybe. I'll just be there forever, hungry.
I don't know that they experience hunger, or they just eat from, hedonistic purpose.
I don't know. Again, the movie doesn't explain anything.
Yeah, I just feel like this could have been a good worldview discussion again, but it's not. Okay, did you enjoy the ending?
I saw the ending so far away that I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm already enjoying it. Oh, wait, I actually have to sit for 40 more minutes. Okay, we'll be there soon.
I just felt like this movie was never going to end. It's like, when can we be done?
I really only started feeling that in like the last 20 minutes. I was like, ugh, kind of drawing this out.
No. Like I said, before we got to Land of the Dead, I was already done. I was already just like, please.
We're just started.
Can this movie be short? I don't remember how long it is. I have other things that I want to do with my night. And then it just felt like it was so long.
I wasn't expecting us to be in the Land of the Dead for so long. Like, I knew it was probably a big part of the movie, but I didn't realize it was 70-80% of the movie.
I assumed we would be there for a long time.
Yeah, I thought half.
Nah, I thought we'd be there most of the movie.
We were there a while.
Yeah, I feel like that was the wrong choice. Just make it more interesting. That's the problem.
Yeah, if it had been more interesting, it would have been fine. But I was more interested in the real world ramifications than I was the Land of the Dead.
I mean, I wasn't really interested in either very much. So
now, can I guess your favorite character?
Sure. Yeah, let's hear who my favorite character is.
It was definitely Dante, the dog. That was your favorite character.
There is no favorite character in a movie whose characters all kind of suck. Like, none of them were very enjoyable. The big cat in the Land of the Dead, and then a kitten when it comes back out, was pretty cool. But it has no personality. It doesn't get to be like my favorite character because it's just a set piece.
Yeah, it's a vehicle for the plot.
Yeah, it's a set piece. Nothing more. Also, I don't know why anybody else's spirit animal was basically not cool. Like, why did everybody else get gypped?
Because no one's as cool as Great-Great-Granny. I actually did write down her name.
Oh, let's hear it.
Mama Imelda.
You said that wrong.
I don't care. I can't say all these things.
I need you to say it with the accent.
I am very bad with the Mexican accent. I guess a Spanish accent.
Yeah, that was a bad...
Yeah, that was, it is what it is. But I'm very bad with it. I'm bad with all accents.
Mm-hmm. While we're on accents, though, I did appreciate that they all sounded like they were, from Mexico, and our setting was in Mexico, and you put some effort in to not, whitewash this movie or something, right?
That would have been really bad.
And I get that, in inappropriate time, you would have tanked your movie for that.
Yeah.
Which is fair, because that would have been really jarring, and just a bad choice.
Oh, that would have been something.
But the voice work was fine. I feel like the voice work was good.
Yeah, it was fine.
There's no exceptional points, but...
Yeah, the main characters sounded fine. Miguel sounded like a 12-year-old. Great.
Whiny brat.
Yeah, made sense.
Can't have what he wants. He can't be a musician.
Just wanted to play music.
Also, in their rickety old house, why can he play up in the attic and nobody can hear that?
He soundproofed it really well.
He didn't.
Definitely.
Nobody's outside. Really there's a hole to the outside.
Yeah. The dog slips in.
So my favorite character is nobody because they suck. You have a favorite character over there?
Anybody who's not the dog?
Anybody who's not the dog.
I hated that dog.
The dog was really stupid.
Oh my god, that dog was actually my least favorite part of this movie.
Really?
Yeah, I hated that dog. It reminded me of a dog I know in real life. And I feel like you know which one I'm talking about. Yeah. And I was immediately turned off so fast. I was like, no, please don't be a big part of it. No. And then this dog never went away. And I was just like, no, this dog is so annoying. I can't. I didn't like that dog. It really kind of bothered me a lot.
Oh, I just went, this dog sucks. And I moved on because I knew I wouldn't like the dog anyway.
Yeah.
He reminds me of the hyenas from Lion King.
The hyenas were better.
Yeah, but just the look and the tongue thing.
Oh, the tongue, yeah. He always had his tongue rolled out.
It was a bad deal.
But everybody else I'd say was about equal in my opinion. You're fine. De La Cruz was a pretty decent character for what he was.
I feel like the story that surrounds him is good. But it's so short and it's so late. I was already checked out.
Yeah, it's not perfect. But for what we're getting in this movie, it was alright.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good. Miguel, he's fine. But his personality comes down to, I want to be a musician, and I I worship this one guy. And then I was never really convinced there at the end when he's like, oh, what's most important is family. I'm like, I wasn't actually sure what scene in particular brought about that revelation within him outside of maybe the pit scene. But I don't know. I didn't buy it.
It didn't sell itself super well.
Yeah, it didn't.
But, I mean, the whole point of it being like a big family thing was really not working for me either. Because I'm just so standoffish and non-engaging with my entire family, basically, that I was like, yeah, I guess family is important. Nah, like, I'm living my life pretty okay right now.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it thematically. I like the idea of, like, a close family. Like, it's nice. But I just don't feel like the movie sold it or made me invested in it. And it certainly didn't bring me around at the end to make me feel like this was a cohesive relationship with him and his family. All of a sudden, I don't know. It just didn't really work for me.
Well, I don't think the theme is necessarily a poor theme, but I think the problem starts to become like, when you idolize family to this level, like, people maintain like incredibly unhealthy and bad relationships with their family sometimes, simply on the idea of like, family's really important and I have to maintain that, right? Like, why waste your time in life on something that society has decided is important?
To be fair, he is 12, right? And so he's growing up and kind of has to deal with the stubbornness of the family, and then he's not old enough to go out and be on his own. So I understand that there's going to be conflict. I didn't have a problem with it at the beginning. It really was just the ending. I'm like, I don't really see it. Outside, like, I get it. He comes back and plays Remember Me to Coco. Things are cool now. But maybe I was just disengaged. Maybe that's the problem.
I don't know. I just don't know, like, if a child would be super engaged in this or not, right? But maybe it's just that I'm not a child and this movie passes as a good child's movie. I don't know. I just feel like people made this movie out like it was so great, and then it really wasn't.
Of the Disney movies that came out, you know, within 4 or 5 years of this that I have seen, I feel like this wasn't that strong of an outing.
I haven't watched a lot of modern Disney films or anything close to.
I haven't seen a lot, but like I enjoyed like Tangled more than I liked this.
Tangled kind of sucks though, let's be real.
It was
irrelevant. Irrelevant. Tangled is not relevant to this discussion. But Disney produced a movie that apparently is really good, but sucks. I don't know what people liked about this. Right? I don't feel like this deserves anything better than mediocre. And I feel like mediocre is generous. Like, I feel like giving this a mediocre rating is like generosity. That's like generosity for like the rest of the year. Like, I can't give anything or anybody else any generosity if I gave this a mediocre score.
That's nonsense. Because everything we see after this day in this year is going to be amazing.
Amazing. What score am I giving it? Like, everything else. What score am I giving all these things from here on out?
Everything will be at least an 8.
At least an 8.
Yep.
Okay.
It's going to be quite the year.
Well, before we get to our scores, you got anything else you want to talk about? You want to say? You want to hate on? Favorite scenes? Body pillow of the dog?
You know, I like the name Dante because of Devil May Cry. Big fan of the name. But man, what a disappointment.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
No.
That's it. Dante is like divine comedy in my head. I didn't even go Devil May Cry first. I think that's kind of sad. I played most of those games and enjoyed them, so. Anyway, well, it's been a pleasure hating on this with you. Well, I know this brought everybody else a lot of pleasure, hearing us hate on their beloved movie.
I get a lot of pleasure hating on this movie with you.
Now, if this did bring you some pleasure, we need you to like, comment, subscribe, follow. All the things that you know you need to do to help support this and keep it going forward. Share this with your friends, in particular
your dead family.
You get on that, right? You make sure you find some old pictures, you put them up on Day of the Dead, I don't know when that is, you look that up. And when they come visit, you make sure you go look. This podcast right here,
give them a listen.
This is where it's at. You spread that around.
Got a lot of downtime being dead. Like, you can at least do that.
Yeah, you send them back with a flash drive, they can plug that in.
A flash drive?
Yeah, they're going to listen to it.
Yeah.
That's a nice portable.
The USB port?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There's a computer. Can we give me your crap?
They did have a computer.
I mean, it looked old. Maybe you used a floppy disk.
Here's a floppy.
Anyway, no more nonsense you need to bring up here.
Well, you can give us some suggestions on what to talk about next. Twitter, YouTube, those are good places. Hit us up. Tell us what you like, dislike. Have at us.
What are you giving this?
I'm going to give this a middling 5.
I'm giving this a 4 out of 10.
Have at us.